Hi guys, welcome to our cooking show. Today, Catherine and I are going to be cooking some hearty minestrone soup. It is spelled like minestrone. And we're also going to do some toasted Western sandwiches. This one's pretty easy, honestly. We're just using the Instant Pot. You guys can use your crock pot that you guys got. You can also use just the giant pot on top of your stove as well. This is all just going to be put inside a pot and then simmered for 6 hours.
In the crock pot, you'll want to cook it for 4 to 6 hours, depending on whether you have it set to high or low. On the stove, the instructions will be different, but if you were provided the recipe, you can follow the directions in the recipe.
Yeah, so first we're going to start off. The first instruction says to simmer all the ingredients except the pasta for 20 minutes or until the vegetables are cooked. So you're going to want to take all of your ingredients. We're going to start off with the cabbage. It is just 1 cup of shredded cabbage. And then we have 5 stalks of celery, and you're going to want to dice your celery, make them kind of small. And then we have some beans as well, some kidney beans.
Black beans, I think.
Oh, we're using black beans. I think the recipe says kidney beans,
cool.
But you can use whatever beans you want. 1 14-ounce can for the kidney beans, and then another 14-ounce can for the white beans as well. You're just dumping this all in the pot. And then we have our carrots. So we peeled and diced 3 carrots. If you have very large carrots, you can make that a little smaller. And then we have our, what is that? Stewed tomatoes. I knew it was tomatoes. 2 cans of 10-ounce cans. And then you mix that all in your pot, and you're going to want to simmer that for 20 minutes.
We need these too.
Oh, and sorry, our beef broth. We have 4 cups of beef broth. I'm perfect at this job. And we also have 4 cups of chicken broth.
That looks more like soup now.
Yep. Now we're just dumping it all. And now you simmer it for about 20 minutes until your vegetables are cooked. So then after that, once your vegetables are cooked, you're going to want to cook your pasta according to the package, but in a separate pot. Don't include that with your soup just yet. So we've already gone ahead and done that. Here's our pasta already cooked. And then Catherine can add that.
I'm actually not going to. If you're using a crock pot, you don't want to add your pasta until the last half hour to an hour, depending on how much you cooked it on the stove. Because otherwise it's just going to turn into absolute mush and kind of like dissolve. You won't even notice it. So if you like that, go right ahead and add it at the beginning. If you don't like mushy pasta, you might want to wait to the last half hour or so to add it.
This is why Catherine's cooking and I'm narrating.
That's the soup.
Yeah, the soup was very easy. So now we're going to move on to our toasted Western as Catherine's cleaning up here. The toasted Western is just a sandwich. It's kind of like an omelet. I have all the ingredients pre-measured out here. And
my turn.
Your turn.
I need this.
So I just want to warm up my skillet.
So if you're doing this at home, you can just cook this in a frying pan. Because we're doing it on video, it's easier for us to do it on the counter, so we brought in a tabletop grill for cooking on. But yeah, a frying pan or whatever you have at home that you would cook eggs in works just fine. So to start, you want to melt butter or margarine on the pan, about 1 tablespoon of that. And you just want to wait till it's melted and heating up a little. And after that, we're going to wait for it to melt, but I'm just going to explain. We diced our onions and peppers ahead of time. You can do this before you start. You can do it while your butter's melting. Just be careful, if your stove is set too high, your butter will start to burn and smoke and set off your smoke detectors.
Annoy your
and
neighbors.
that's not a fun time. But yeah, so once that has started melting, you don't have to wait for it to be fully melted, but you can. We're gonna add our peppers. So we have a green pepper, a yellow pepper, and then we're gonna add the equivalent of 2 onions, all diced. If you just have green peppers, that's fine. The color of the peppers really doesn't matter. And we're also, at this point, we're gonna add our ham. So we have sliced ham, like sandwich meat. We cut it just into squares. If you have like a ham end that you cooked in the oven, you can just cube that up and do it the exact same way.
Did I miss that we were adding our onions as well?
You did miss that we're adding the onions.
I'm a very focused chef, don't mind me.
So yes, we add the onions at this point too. So the temperature also is kind of like up to you, how high you want to cook it. Higher temperature cooks faster, it also burns faster.
I have it at a medium temperature.
I'm an impatient cooker, so I cook everything on high, but I also burn a lot of things. But if you are more patient or you want to set it lower so that you can like get your eggs ready or whatever while you wait, you can set it to a lower temperature. It will still cook, it just takes longer.
Just kidding, I had it at a high temperature. It's gonna cook faster, that's all.
Yeah, it will cook faster at high, but like I said, it also burns faster. So while all this is cooking, as long as you make sure you stir it frequently, you can start to prep your eggs as well. So we're gonna take 8 eggs. We have most of our eggs already cracked into the bowl. We're just gonna add a couple more.
Try to avoid the shells.
Try not to get shells in. If you do, just use your fingers to pick it out, or a spoon if you don't want to touch the eggs.
Bingo.
And you're gonna whisk it with milk. About 4 tablespoons of milk. And then you can add salt and pepper at this point if you want, and whisk it in as well. If you don't want to, you can also add the salt and pepper later when you put it on the bread.
Whisk, whisk, whisk.
Not good. Sometimes that happens.
It's a big whisk. And do we want to make sure that, how whisked do I want this?
You want it like thoroughly combined. So, I mean, again, you know, there's no real wrong way to do eggs. If you like your scrambled eggs completely combined, you can do that. Sometimes I don't mix them well enough. I get spots that are completely white still. That really isn't going to affect the taste of the sandwich.
Also be mindful of your cooking.
Yes, be mindful of what you're cooking. Another thing too is if you don't have a whisk at home, you could use a fork. I mean, you can use your hands if you really want. I don't recommend it. It gets pretty messy at that point. But a fork works really well for whisking things and combining eggs as well.
So I have it pretty much whisked here. Do you approve of that whisk?
Sure. Looks good to me. So at this point, we're just going to continue to cook our onions and everything. We want to cook them until they're light golden brown, or at least until your onions are translucent, because otherwise they're going to be really crunchy. And I suppose if you like that, go right ahead and add your eggs now. If you don't like that, cook them longer.
Some people like peanut butter and onion sandwiches. That is...
To each their own. That is all I've got to say to that. Cause
some people, not me.
That does not sound like a thing I would enjoy.
Maybe that'll be on our next menu.
Please don't.
Leave in the comments.
My grandma likes peanut butter and cheese and peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yeah?
And I just let her do her thing.
You can take it Parent Trap style and do peanut butter and Oreos.
That actually is really good.
You've tried it.
Yeah, that is good. Peanut butter on Oreos is good. How's it looking?
It's looking a little crunchy, but it's definitely cooking for sure. I have it on the highest heat. So.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun trying to get all these eggs and flipping this into an omelet, I'm telling you.
I know. This is why Jess gets to cook it, not me, because it will not stay together if I do it.
Believe it or not, I volunteered to do this part. I usually don't cook my omelets the size of the skillet.
Yeah. Another side note, too, I think, is if you find that you have a lot of vegetables, you could take, like, a separate bowl and just separate some of those vegetables out so that there's not quite as many vegetables to your egg, and just cook it twice. So you cook like half your egg and half your vegetable and do it a second time.
I would definitely recommend that for myself.
Also, especially like cooking in a frying pan, it's not necessarily always going to be like straight easy. And the smaller you cut your vegetables, the faster they will cook. I did not cut these very small, so they're taking a little longer to cook.
You guys just get more FaceTime of us.
There you go.
They're cooking a little bit.
I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah.
They're getting there. You could also take this time to toast your bread. So this recipe serves, I believe, 4. This recipe serves 4 people, so you're gonna want to toast 8 pieces of bread. And so you can do that. I recommend a toaster, but not everybody has a toaster. So you can do it on a frying pan. Also, if you cook your toast on a frying pan, make sure you watch it. Bread burns fast. We have already toasted our bread just because we have a very big kitchen and we want to try and get everything on video. So to keep us from walking off the frame for like 5 minutes, we toasted it ahead of time.
Yeah. I am getting a lot out of this pan.
Yeah. Do you want a bowl to put some of it into?
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea.
We'll do that.
You adapt as you go in this cooking show.
It's kind of like cooking in real life. It doesn't always go the way you expect.
Yeah.
Also, if you have more eggs and want to do more than 8 eggs, go right ahead. This is just how our recipe is and how we've portioned it out. That looks better.
Yeah. Maybe I should have.
Looking pretty good.
You want me maybe add eggs now?
I'm thinking we probably can because it will continue to cook some once we add the eggs.
Okay. Here's the big reveal.
We also use really small eggs, so that's gonna be a thing. It'll be fine.
Okay.
So we're gonna cook it like this for about 3 minutes, and hope it works. No. If I'm brutally
It's going to
honest.
work.
Nah, I don't make omelets at home because they end up just scrambled eggs with cheese mixed in.
I would not be surprised if I needed assistance flipping this, or maybe I need to get a second spatula.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you do it, I don't know.
Maybe I'll get
Maybe
a
the
second
long
spatula.
way. I don't. This ideally actually would be if you separated it down so it serves 4 people. If you divided it into 4 and cooked like a single serving at a time, it might be a little easier. It might not be. I don't know.
Maybe you get to learn from our mistakes.
Very possibly. And I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. So you want to really cook it until the egg is starting to look a little more solid on top as well. Because the more solid the egg looks, the easier it's going to be to flip.
I took about half of the vegetables and put it aside. We can make more after and just scrambled more eggs.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is definitely a good serving as well for 4 people.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe you can just fry the vegetables on the side and have
You
that as a
definitely
side.
could. I would.
Mm-hmm.
How does it look? Please flip. Okay, when it's ready to flip, which ours may or may not be quite there yet.
Yeah, it's not there.
Um,
She's getting there.
but once it gets there, you want to sprinkle your cheese on top, and then when you flip it, you actually fold it in half like an omelet. And from there, you cook it a little bit longer.
Well, it's popping, so it might be ready.
It might be. We'll find out.
So sprinkle in the cheese. I might do cut this into like smaller omelets and not do one giant one. Does that make
So that's
sense?
the idea, is after you would cut it, but I think if you have to do it before, you probably can. Maybe. We'll find out. I only cook for 2 people at home, so.
We'll go like this. I want to say that it's not done just so I have a little bit more time to think about this. But I think I might just have to go for it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
The more veggies in it too, like ratio of veggies to eggs, will make it potentially more likely to fall apart when you flip it. Hey, we did it.
Well, it's flipped.
Well, Jess did it. I did nothing.
You
I
were
watched.
moral support. All right.
So, once you flip it, you're just going to leave it to cook for a couple more minutes.
Yeah. Don't do what I'm
At
doing.
this point, you may want to turn your temperature down if you have it up really high, because you don't really want to burn the eggs. We want your food to taste good.
Catherine
edible.
hinting at the burning smell that's happening right now. All right, we're going for the second half. And honestly, guys, I just say commit to it. Believe in yourself. See, that one was not the best.
That's okay.
They're sisters, not twins, you guys.
It'll still taste really good.
Yeah. For sure. This looks delicious. The cheese is melting.
Yeah, so from there, you cook it for a couple of minutes. You just want to make sure your eggs are cooked through, partly because slimy eggs are gross, partly because you don't really want to get sick from undercooked eggs.
Yep. Tip. Don't get sick from undercooked eggs.
How's it look? Does it look like you can get it off now?
Well, I may be able to get it off.
Well, you would
This
cut those in
chunk would be
half,
perfect, yeah.
because it serves 4.
I'm really glad that Dorothy's not here to watch me do this.
Dorothy is our cafe manager here, and she is a really good cook. So I definitely...
I'm also pretty sure this is her recipe.
It is definitely her recipe. So she is much better at cooking this than us.
Yeah. So I think this piece is good.
Okay. So once it's cooked, you're just going to take your 2 pieces of toast, and you are going to put it in the middle of them and eat it like a sandwich.
Lovely. All right. Take this chunk here. She's very cheesy. Ooh, look at that cheese. I'm a chef.
Jessica's very proud of herself today.
Yes, ma'am. And we got a toasted Western. Look at that.
So that is how you cook a toasted Western sandwich and minestrone soup. If you're one of our Hub Harvest families, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. If you're interested, registration is currently open for our next round of Hub Harvest. So if anybody out there is watching is interested in joining us and learning how to make recipes like this, you can go to our
One of our-
Instagram.
Yeah.
Like,
One of our
what
social medias.
media is that? Instagram page, and the information is up there. And you can also email programs@yfclondon.com for more information. And that is all we've got today. Have a good weekend.